a firefighter from the early 1900s, wearing a Koenig's smoking helmet in Hamburg-Altona, Germany. Eugene Smith's Country Doctor, 1948, is a landmark photo essay about the exhausting yet dedicated life of a rural physician, Dr. Ernest Cariani, in Kremlin, Colorado. In 1978, a stolen 1974 Ferrari Dino 246 GTS was found buried in a Los Angeles backyard by two boys. The car, which had been reported stolen in 1974, was part of an insurance fraud scheme. First Secretary of the Polish United Workers' Party, Władysław Gomułka, receives a kiss from a fan, 1966. "21-years-old Yves Saint Laurent at Christian Dior's funeral, 1957. Lewis Hines' famous image, Cotton Mill Girl, 1908, a haunting portrait of a young girl, stoic and weary beyond her years, standing amidst the machinery of a cotton mill, a symbol of child labor in early 20th century America. Charles Manson's initial booking photo after the Tate LaBianca murders, 1969. Manfred von Richthofen, 1917. The Red Baron was a legendary German fighter pilot in World War I, credited with shooting down 80 enemy aircraft. He became a national hero and a symbol of aerial combat prowess before his death in action in 1918. Shoemaker's Lunch, 1944, by Bernard Cole. Babies left to sleep outside, enforcing immune system, Moscow, 1958. Princess Diana arriving at the Serpentine Gallery, London, June 29, 1994. Wearing what would become known as the revenge dress, Diana made headlines the same night Prince Charles publicly admitted to infidelity in a televised interview. Engineers stand inside a massive penstock pipe during the construction of the Hoover Dam, 1934. Wedding rings that were removed from Holocaust victims before they were executed, 1945. Muhammad Ali playfully knocking out the Beatles, Miami, 1964. Taken during a promotional photo shoot ahead of Ali's, then Cassius Clay, heavyweight title fight against Sonny Liston. The Fab Four met the champ at the 5th Street Gym. Catherine Switzer, number 261, is attacked by a race official while running the 1967 Boston Marathon, becoming the first woman to officially complete the race. Tagged Andean condor in the Colca Canyon, Peru. With a wingspan of up to 3.3 meters, 10.8 feet, the Andean condor is one of the world's largest flying birds. Conservation programs monitor populations closely due to their vulnerable status. An undercover police officer on duty, New York, Brooklyn, 1st of July, 1969. Louisita Lears, German circus strongwoman and aerialist, photographed in the 1930s. Photographer Charles Ebbets, taking the iconic photograph Lunch Atop a Skyscraper, September 20th, 1932. Portrait of Titanic passenger and millionaire Benjamin Guggenheim, 1910, refusing to enter a lifeboat, he reportedly asked a steward to inform his family that I played the game straight to the end and that no women was left on board this ship because Ben Guggenheim was a coward. Into the Jaws of Death, June 6, 1944, by Robert F. Sargent. Captures U.S. soldiers storming ashore at Omaha Beach under heavy Nazi fire on D-Day, June 6, 1944. A blind Muslim named Muhammad carrying his best friend, a paralyzed Christian who suffers from dwarfism, named Samir, Damascus, Ottoman Syria, 1889. A hippie girl selling roadside flowers in Oklahoma, 1973. The Falling Soldier, photographed by Robert Capa in 1936, capturing a Republican fighter's death during the Spanish Civil War. Thousands of miners scale makeshift ladders at the Serra Pelada gold mine in Brazil, photographed by Sebastian Salgado in the 1980s. Spanish archaeologist Manuel Esteve wearing a Corinthian helmet he found in Jerez, Spain, 1938. Sharon Tate and Italian actress Barbara Bucci at Playboy London Casino, 1966. French politicians Gaston Defferre and René Ribière settle a dispute with one of the last recorded political duels in France, fought with swords in 1967. Children in front of the world's largest log cabin, Portland, Oregon, 1938. Built in 1905 for the Lewis and Clark Centennial Exposition, destroyed by fire in 1964. During World War II, children in the United States were issued Mickey Mouse-themed gas masks, 1942. The idea was to make the frightening devices less intimidating for kids in case of chemical attacks. Survivors of the 1972 Andes flight disaster wave at the rescue helicopter, after 72 days stranded in the mountains. The crash of Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571 became one of the most famous survival stories in history, where the group endured extreme conditions before being saved. Former U.S. President Ulysses S. Grant writes his memoir on the porch of his upstate New York cottage circa 1885. A group of samurai next to the Sphinx in Egypt, 1863. In 2005, Sony launched 250,000 colorful bouncy balls down the steep streets of San Francisco for a commercial promoting its new Bravia LCD TVs, capturing the joyful chaos in camera without digital effects. Anna Frank with her sister Margot at Zandvoort Beach, 1940. High executioner of the princely state Rewa, modern-day Madhya Pradesh, 1898. St. Paul's Cathedral. During the Blitz, December 29, 1940. A splatter mask worn by French tank gunners during World War I, 1918. Denmark's Prime Minister Anders Fogh Rasmussen after being doused in red paint due to Denmark's participation in the Iraq War, March 18, 2003. Testing a bulletproof vest, September 13, 1923. World War II, Red Army veteran waving a Soviet flag and confronting an anti-communist protester circa 1990. Gas mask soldier with bayoneted rifle, 1941. National Parks worker James Hudson uses a cloth-wrapped pole to clean Lincoln's ear at the Lincoln Memorial in 1987. Central Park in New York City during the Great Depression, 1933. Iraqi prisoner of war, comforting his 4-year-old son in Najaf, Iraq, March 31, 2003. Two Kashmiri guards, along with American photographer James Rickleton, at the Imperial Delhi Durbar in British India, 1903. A 1934 U.S. $1,000 bill featuring President Grover Cleveland, once used for large bank transactions. Finnish sniper Simo Heiha, nicknamed the White Death, during the Winter War, 1939 to 1940, credited with over 500 confirmed kills. In July 1972, an FBI agent, stripped down to his underwear to prevent concealment of weapons, delivers a suitcase containing $1 million ransom for the release of 86 hostages during a hijacking in Miami. Las Vegas police facing Mike Tyson after he'd just bitten Holyfield's ear off, 1996. President Harry S. Truman keeps fit by doing exercises on the deck of the USS Missouri, proudly wearing a t-shirt that reads, Coach Truman Athletic Department, 1947. On August 23, 1989, nearly 2 million people joined hands to form a 675-kilometer human chain across Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. Called the Baltic Way, this peaceful demonstration became a powerful symbol of unity, resistance to Soviet rule, and the collective demand for independence and freedom. Opera diva Maria Callas and Hollywood star Marilyn Monroe at JFK's 45th birthday gala in 1962, where Monroe gave her iconic "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" performance. Pinboy at a bowling alley, Washington, April 1943. Fidel Castro with his first wife, Mirta Diaz-Balart, from a wealthy Cuban family, before his rise as a revolutionary leader, 1949. Inside the control room of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, 1986. The Cliff House, San Francisco, California. Built by Adolphe Sutro in 1896 on the cliffs below his estate on the bluffs of Sutro Heights. The Cliff House survived the 1906 earthquake, but was destroyed by fire on September 7, 1907. On May 10, 1973, a masked man armed with 2 guns and a homemade bomb attempted to rob a CIBC bank in Kenora, Ontario. As he exited with bags of cash, a police sniper shot him, triggering the explosives. The blast killed the robber instantly, injured a nearby officer, and scattered money across the street in front of over 1,000 stunned onlookers. The man was never identified. Ruth Lee, a Chinese restaurant hostess, displayed a Chinese flag while sunbathing in Miami after the Pearl Harbor attack in 1941 to avoid being mistaken for Japanese. On September 4, 1957, 15-year-old Dorothy Counts braved jeers, insults, and protests as she became one of the first African-American students to integrate Harry Harding High School in Charlotte, North Carolina. Recently released Jewish Prisoner Attacks, A German Guard, 1945. An anti-KKK group called the Knights of the Invisible Jungle of the Tiger's Eye, circa 1921. A New York Tunnel Authority officer patrols the Holland Tunnel in the 1950s, using a specialized catwalk car. Cow shoes, 1928. Used by bootleggers during Prohibition, these wooden shoe attachments left footprints resembling cow hooves. They were a clever trick to mislead police and federal agents while smuggling alcohol across rural areas. Women protesting outside Grauman's Chinese Theater during the premiere of Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Carrying signs in defense of brunettes and redheads, the demonstration was actually a publicity stunt staged for the film's release, 1953. A young Freddie Mercury, born Farouk Bulsara, with his mother, Jer Bulsara, in 1947. Nap time as a non-negotiable ritual. In the 1950s and 60s, nap time was considered essential for children's growth and well-being in kindergartens. Soviet peasants listened to the radio for the first time, 1928. Jean Bedel Bokassa and his wife Catherine at his lavish coronation as Emperor of the Central African Empire in 1977. The ceremony consumed nearly a third of the nation's annual budget, yet not a single foreign head of state accepted his invitation to attend. Boy standing in front of fallen statue of Lenin, Ethiopia, 1991. Indian soldiers in Mesopotamia, 1918. As troops scramble into slit trenches for cover, a Lewis gun team takes aim at an enemy aircraft during World War I. Tokyo residents mourning Hachiko, 1935. For 9 years after his owner's death in 1925, the loyal dog returned daily to Shibuya Station, waiting in vain for his return. B-25. Mitchell bombers fly past Mount Vesuvius during its violent 1944 eruption. The disaster killed 57 people and wiped out the nearby villages of San Sebastiano and San Giorgio. Le Mans, 1955. A tragic crash sent debris flying into the crowd, killing over 80 spectators and injuring more than 100. The disaster remains the deadliest accident in motorsport history. Boston, September 1974. On the first day of federally mandated busing to desegregate schools, Valerie Banks sat alone as the only student to attend her geography class. German prisoner of war returning to his hometown of Frankfurt to discover his house bombed and his family no longer there. 1946. Nixon's final presidential breakfast. Cottage cheese, pineapple slices, and a glass of milk. August 8th, 1974. The oldest generation of people to ever be photographed, 1840s. A Pennsylvania state trooper warns a trucker against sleeping on the turnpike's shoulder, where a serial killer was targeting drivers. August 1953. Photo by Ralph Morse, Life magazine. Romanian biologist Emil Rakovița photographed underwater in Bagnols-sur-Mer, France, 1899. Taken by Louis Boutin, a pioneer of underwater photography who perfected flash rigs to capture some of the world's first portraits beneath the sea. An elephant assists in loading supplies onto a US C-46 transport plane in India during World War II. Wernher von Braun, director of NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center at his office in Huntsville, Alabama, 1965. In June 1981, Queen Elizabeth II was riding in the Trooping the Colour parade along the Mall in London when 17-year-old Marcus Sargent fired 6 blank shots from a starting pistol in her direction. Statue of David by Michelangelo, encased in bricks to prevent damage from bombs during World War II. The earliest known photo of a Nazi gas van, used by Einsatzkommando 7A, a mobile killing unit under Einsatzgruppe B. This unit murdered an estimated 134,000 Belarusian Jews, with gas vans as one of their methods, circa 1941. A man browses for books in the old public library of Cincinnati. The building was demolished in 1955. David Kirby on his deathbed in Ohio, 1989. Published in Life magazine in 1990, Therese Frere's photograph became an iconic image that brought global attention to the human toll of the AIDS crisis. John "Jammy" Reynolds, known as the Human Fly of the 1910s, performing rooftop stunts high above New York City. Reynolds was one of the era's urban daredevils, risking his life for spectacle decades before safety gear or viral fame. Soviet troops stationed in East Germany have some fun at an East Berlin amusement park while off duty, 1985. German women forced to repave the streets of Prague after World War II, 1945. A man arrested for cross-dressing, emerging from a police van, New York, 1939. Japanese couple taking a selfie in the mirror, 1920s. John F. Kennedy campaigning door-to-door in West Virginia, 1960. Soviet airman carrying a FAB-50 bomb during World War II, 1942. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching.